One attendee. One attendee.
So I'll call the Groton Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, regular meeting to order. First item is roll call. Al Sutherland here. Sue Sutherland here. And we got Steve Hooch here. So it's not in the corner.
It is a quorum.
Okay, next item is approval of minutes of previous meetings, May 9th and 23rd. I'll entertain a motion for May 9th.
Actually, on the agenda, by the way, it says just goes to public hearing. On the agenda, it just says public hearings is the next.
Oh, we have.
Oh, I have here.
Those
That's,
are
oh, that's CBA.
CBA.
But you printed it.
Oh, and you read it, you were getting ready to read it.
Zoning Board of Appeals, okay. Yeah, good. Excuse me all the way.
They look the same.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve meeting minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Does anyone have any corrections?
Just minor, just the one with the fonts and everything.
Oh.
And,
One of them was.
And then on what, 8.1, that's the proponent claims lighting. And the fourth line, it's just that there should be a space after 9:30. Oh, sure. And the next paragraph, where it first, look about 6 or 7 lines down, where that's 8.3 to 5 feet. I think it'd be good to say of what, because it's kind of stuck in there.
Section, zoning regulations section.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a typo on new business, X3. Mythic.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. I think that was.
So does anyone have anything else? If not, we'll vote on the motion to approve the minutes of May 9th as amended. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion is carried unanimously. We did have one typo. If you're gonna correct it. No, I mean, it was,
Okay,
there was just one word where you said and frontage rather than apron.
okay, okay.
That's on page 2. And then second paragraph, SIT 20. Right under the T. Not approved.
Got it. Okay.
I wasn't gonna pick that. I only worry about it if you can understand. It's my main concern. Just so that 2 years from now, people wonder what we did. Okay, then we have May 23rd. Meeting, I'll entertain a motion to approve those. Is there a second? Second. Does anyone have any correction
Well,
for those.
just again, a small spacing thing. I got Roman numeral 2.2, the captain's mansion. And it would be, fourth paragraph down where it starts Casey, and right in the middle it says manor as steamboat, spacing.
Yeah.
And the fonts were very strange.
Oh, I mean, let's. Hmm,
And, and on page 10, with this staff confirmed that the special permit runs the land and not the property owner, and that says she voted. I didn't know who she was.
Okay.
That's it for me.
anyone have anything else?
Oh, sorry, one more, I'm sorry, one more thing, farther down, just before the end, it says, there was a motion to amend by Zod, seconded by Sutherland. But one says, the hotel motel shall maintain an on-call telephone system that allows guests or town officials, and et cetera, et cetera. But I thought, didn't we have the general public in there too, that they were
Yeah.
allowed?
Oh, yes.
Somebody,
Yes, that was
That,
inserted.
that,
in
that was the insert.
yeah, that's what I thought, and I didn't, that's, at the end it says, or member of the public, but I think it should say that up front. So
It wasn't,
But that was the amended motion to add.
it
public.
was the amendment.
Right,
Mhm. Because there's no,
right. So the initial motion did not include that.
no, it
Right.
was.
Right.
It was in the, only in the amendment, because we never.
But it didn't,
It doesn't print out the motion as amended. It just prints, doesn't.
Well, I mean, the motion to amend by Zod, seconded by Sutherland, and then number one, and if you read down through it, it adds.
No, that's where, yes,
but I think it should be at the.
I thought it was inserted into the first, but could you listen, have somebody listen to the thing?
Sure, okay,
See
sure,
where-
sure.
Only because it's an or thing, either or in the first
Mhm.
line, and then all of a sudden the public thing.
I thought it was, I thought you were right, that it was inserted, we talked about
Yeah.
it at the end, but I thought
Yeah.
we
You did insert it.
inserted it at the beginning. Hmm?
Yep. So then we'll
Okay, yep. Yeah,
deal there.
the sound on the last meeting was not the best,
Mm.
so, yeah.
Well, yeah, if you're just listening to that, it's pretty easy to
Mhm.
miss something.
Mhm.
It's different. Any other corrections?
I guess a report of staff, I didn't understand this one, this is in 12. Line where it says staff stated the Triton Square appeal has been decided. And the planning and zoning commission decision has been upheld.
Mhm.
What was the planning and zoning?
To approve
Oh,
the approval of the project, the site
It
plan
was-
approval,
somebody appealed.
that was
It
appealed.
was
Oh.
appealed.
Thank you.
You think that's? Which?
And it's like 2 weeks later, they're moving that this time. What?
I just wonder whether. Something should be inserted to make it more obvious what it was.
I think that'd be helpful, but I was like, I wasn't sure exactly what it was. referring to.
Okay,
I
so
want to say,
appeal of the Triton
Project.
Square approval,
well, if you said staff stated the Triton Square, want to say project approval,
sure,
appeal, would that make sense?
sure, or stated the appeal of the Triton Square approval has been,
Project approval,
yeah, project approval, okay.
then it would be obvious to somebody that knew nothing.
Yep. Okay.
Anything else? We'll vote then on a motion to approve the minutes, May 23rd. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion is carried unanimously. Okay, next, you have public communications. Is anyone on the commission have any communications report, staff? Anything?
No.
Is anyone in the public? have only one person who's
Yeah, it's not up.
so with no hand.
Nope, no hands.
That's there. The next item of business is old business zoning regulation amendments, preliminary discussion for short-term rentals. You wanna?
Sure, I'll
add
just
any
briefly,
introduction or not?
sure. So the last time you looked at the short-term rental memo from Horsley Witten was in early May. At that point, you were comfortable with the changes that Jeff Davis and Horsley Witten had made and asked me to draft it in text amendment form, which is what you see in your packet. If you are comfortable with this, we'll develop an application. We'll get it reviewed by the town attorney. I spoke with him today and he's expecting it. And as well as putting together the table of uses and actually inserting it in there so that you can see what it looks like.
Okay. I don't know. Just, I was thinking maybe the best way to handle this is that we can go over it by the sections and see if anybody has any comments to it, because it is important and something completely new. So the first one, the definition, then anybody have any concerns with the definition? If you have anything, just yell, say so, or come back so that we don't miss it. Then we have table 4.1 of permitted uses, including which areas are effective and does anyone have any concerns with what's there?
It's the same.
Yeah, it
I
was.
just want to make sure
exactly.
we all
No,
agree.
I think it makes-
Yep,
Hmm.
so it's conditionally allowed in the CN, CRIM, special permit with conditions. RRU, RM, MDD, MTC, MVC, and then not allowed RS, IG, WW, GR,
Mhm. So everybody, no concerns with them.
Hmm.
Then we have use standards adding on section 5.1-7.c. Are there any concerns with this? I don't know.
Mr.
I
Chairman,
mean, we can go through each paragraph.
I just want to make sure I understand this. So 517C, short-term rental, special permits and short-term rental listed below. By the following
Yeah, I
conditions apply.
have a concern with how this is phrased,
Mhm.
not the technical end. But it almost should duplicate itself, and I would think if these regulation sections apply to everything where they're allowed. And yet it inserts the special permit text in the beginning, and I would think it should be, and then it repeats the conditions, because everything, these conditions, where the conditions apply to the following zone district CN, CRIM, is for every district, right? Where you can have.
So, right, so these
So-
conditions apply to every zone where it's allowed, special permit or not, all of these
No,
conditions.
no, but you have to be very careful reading this, because it almost sounds that they're separate. That's why I was thinking that either you say the conditions apply to all short-term rentals or something like that, and then
I see what
after
you're saying.
that,
Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
after
yep.
that, say in these ones that require the special permit and special permits are required.
Yep.
There's some words like that.
Yeah, this is the format in the zoning regs, but I think what you're saying is more clear.
Well, yeah, just so that it's obvious that,
It
They're
it almost
applicable
looks like
across
those
the
three
board.
conditions.
Or only for-
Right.
yes,
Yep.
see, that's
Got it,
where
yep,
I
yep.
got trapped in that, and then I reread it, it says, oh, it's okay. But it's really only the special permit. Right.
right.
Permit is, maybe you start off special permits are required in those, and then put
Yeah,
everything.
separate
else after
sentence
that.
and then the following.
Or you
conditions
could
apply
do
to
it
all
the other
zones.
way, these are following.
Yep.
The following rules. As follows, and then you put in special permits are required. Or would be the, I don't know, another way to do it.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
Because somebody might speed read the thing and miss it.
Yes, I did the first 3 times, that's I went back. I looked at.
Well, you had the same.
I the exact same thing. I just,
Yeah.
wait a minute. So
Yeah, I had that.
2 sentences, but one is special permits for these
Yeah,
and the conditions apply for all of these.
yes.
That's it.
Does anyone have any concern then with any of these?
And I know, we talked about code compliance. You know, to make sure fire safety and
Mhm.
everything, but, is that required to say, you know, evidence of code compliance? It just kind of says the short term shall be in compliance with all applicable building codes. Okay. Yep, mine is.
No,
So,
I mean, that is something that we do during the review of an application. I mean, we don't take an applicant saying, yeah, yep, we're all good. It's, we require that. I mean, whether the regulation says that or not.
all right, so we don't have to state, evidence of code.
that's done by the,
I mean,
When-
yeah, the lead
Get it.
planner always does that.
Okay.
Yeah, just for this kind of thing, because you guys would ask us, well, how do you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, most-
Okay.
They don't state.
on this condition 2. The location of short-term rentals. It says short-term rental rooms, should that be unit? Short-term rental unit, maybe, okay.
I think, I
Or is this
think we
something?
used rooms because in case it's, you know, a
Just rooms.
traditional old fashioned short-term rental where someone is just renting out a room in their house.
Oh,
As opposed to a dwelling unit or a sub.
I was thinking, but our definition. Wasn't it talk about their dwelling? units? It says
Unit.
short-term rental, the use of a fundament of a furnished legal dwelling. unit.
In whole or in part.
Oh, okay, that's what you're, that's
Yeah,
what that means.
yeah.
Then it's, yeah. See, I thought that most of these are.
I mean, we could say short-term
I-
rental rooms or
As long as
units,
it's legal.
Yeah.
And the attorney's happy.
right? Well, he hasn't gotten there yet, but yeah.
No, okay. Anyone have any other questions? Concerns?
Yeah.
Good. Then we can move on.
All right, we'll get it over to the town attorney.
Yeah,
After all the discussions we've had with.
yeah. Actually,
We've worked on.
Actually, I got one more. We did have a discussion about the owner occupying the resident during the time of the short-term rental.
Right.
And I was kind of halfway on that. I didn't think that that would be enforceable. But that is nowhere here.
And number 3. The owner of the lot must have their primary residence in one unit of a 2-unit dwelling. In the principal dwelling unit or in a legally permitted accessory dwelling unit.
Well,
But
that's,
not present. He doesn't have.
Doesn't have to be
okay,
present.
so everybody's good with him not being present.
I mean, that's what you guys had. You had them,
Okay.
their primary residence.
That's all we can do.
Right. Otherwise,
We
it's-
I
can't
mean-
take his attendance.
Yeah. it's kind of
Yeah,
a nightmare.
that would be a nightmare. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, the original short-term rentals were based on that,
Mhm,
where the owner would move out and rent
mhm,
his living quarters.
mhm, mhm.
That's
right.
how they started.
Yep.
Mhm. But they were truly short-term rental.
Mhm.
It wasn't a full-time use like this.
Mhm.
I know, but it's interesting because we just, from a homeowner association, we just met on this and discussed what we've been discussing. Obviously, it's really interesting to me.
Mm.
But one thing that we sort of adopted was the definition. Because we don't allow short-term rental, but how do we do that?
Mm.
When one is part of the definition, because we do have some people who would like to do that, who would like to take off
Mhm.
for a month or months at a time. And we said that's okay, so long as it's over 30 days.
Right,
So we know who you are and we know who they are, because they're there for 30 days.
yeah, I think we had the same thing, so I think it's like, 30 days.
Yeah.
It's a long time, but it's not impossible. to really know.
Yeah, you're talking no ag zone?
No.
No.
Oh, associations.
So-
Oh, associations.
Yeah.
Rules.
Because in no ag zoning, they pretty much said no short-term rentals
Say no.
period.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
And, but I'll tell you that 30 days, more than 30 days seems to be no problem.
So in short
Well,
term,
that's a
Yeah.
consider a real,
that's,
rent lease type situation.
Hmm.
Yes, you always-
it accomplishes what you want. Don't want somebody to come in, wreck the place and leave before you even knew they were there. They're gonna stick around for a couple of weeks. You get to know who they are.
Well,
Yeah.
and we're.
It almost is a neighbor.
We're really trying to eliminate businesses buying a new.
Oh, yeah,
the whole
we've
thing.
covered that.
That's the real concern.
You don't have a pipeline.
Mhm.
Stuff like that.
So we're happy with this.
Yes.
Okay, all right, I'll make
That's
those
good.
changes and get it to the town attorney.
Once.
Yeah.
Once
A
it's
year.
discussed.
Boils down to
Years.
one thing.
Yeah, but it's good when you can do that.
Yeah.
If you get it well understood, you can.
Right.
Succinctly, describe it.
Maybe I looked at the date on the memo to the town council, November 21.
Is
Really,
that what it was? Yeah,
really.
yeah.
Yeah. I know Bill on, but I didn't know.
Year and a half.
How do we get them to turn this into an ordinance?
Well, I think we should wait till our hearing. Once we get it agreed to, then we can sit and talk. It may be tough because it's getting
Mhm,
into
Mhm.
election.
mhm.
I mean, you really have to have it, you have to do it before Labor Day.
Mhm.
Then you're on a new council.
Yep. Yep.
But at least we've got some rules that everybody understands what they are,
Mhm.
which is the first.
Mhm.
That's first thing. All right, so we have new business, got new applications,
No, we don't at this point.
referrals. Got two referrals. First one is CBA 2305 O'Brien Garage 162 Bayview Avenue Extension.
It is, I know,
It's not on a town road.
right, it's the
Dirt.
dirt, it's the dirt portion of it.
I drove
That's right.
down there.
Yep, yep.
I did, I knew that there was an extension to the. Bayview
Yeah, there are 3 or
Avenue.
4 houses down there.
When we did that study of town
Oh,
roads,
yeah. Yep,
that was only.
we use that study still.
Do you?
We do, yeah.
But that was the first time I think we put together.
Mhm.
that
It's
one
got a
area,
definitive list of
what
roads that
the
are
roads-
not approved.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Not improved, not approved. Yeah,
Which is really what we did.
yeah.
And after the group that was complaining, they wanted to have a town road when we got the council to actually approve the conditions,
Mhm.
taking a road, unapproved road and making it.
Mhm.
They wouldn't do it. Huh? They didn't want to spend the money,
Yeah.
but here they were complaining because their road was full of hot water.
Right. All right, so this one is just a setback variance request for a garage, and I think you could see they submitted a whole lot of information. But the ZBA obviously will take into account regarding topography and house location and
So
whatnot.
they just against this property line, because it's really like a driveway.
Right, yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any concerns?
Well, it was awful close to that house to the south. And
It is,
it's not like a tiny little.
Well,
garage,
but
it's got
then-
a dormer on it.
but then it's up to my feeling of that was it's up to the neighbors to complain. to the
Playing at the-
CBA.
Yeah, no, it's true. It was just my personal opinion. It's
No, right,
Big and close.
I don't think they had a legitimate thing, you could move this thing around a little bit and angle it, so that wasn't as close. From a zoning standpoint, we don't care.
Or from planning, does it?
Or a plan.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I would think as long as you have enough room to do maintenance and
Mhm.
build it.
Mhm. Yep, yeah, the zoning board of appeals will take all that into account. Yep,
That's what they're for.
yep, exactly.
Like the first house I owned in Mystic. I think the garage was probably had about a foot or less
Mm.
to the property. Well, I don't know why, somehow that property got carved out of the adjacent property. It's just a little postage stamp. If you look back at the old maps. It's there back in the 1860s, the map showed it, just carved out, there's this one little building, and I don't know why.
Because Uncle so-and-so got old and needed a place to live.
No, I think it may have been built as a business,
Oh,
because there was a rope on at some time across the street on Orchard Lane. And that's why all the houses that you see are all new on the
Mhm.
riverside.
yeah.
And I wondered, and somebody had gotten a plaque in the historic district on this house that I had. And it said that this is the owners or the builders name or the owner at the time. And then it has something about hoop manufacturing.
Hmm.
Hoops. And I was wondering whether they were associated with the sales that you might use rope for or for barrels. And
Mhm.
it was, may have been a business, because it was not a very big thing. Okay, the next one, CBA 2306. We're at the residence on Midway Oval.
Right. And again, this is, let's see,
That they wanted
this is a
to,
very small lot with a very small building envelope and the house they want to put on there clearly needs some setback variances
I
as well as coverage.
have a concern with that. In that they wanted to put a square building. Which causes the clearance to come way down from everybody else's on that, on Miami Court. And I think that we should be recommending to the ZBA that they maintain the setbacks on here that are compatible with the existing or the adjacent property.
So my.
And yours, yeah, because you look at it, you can see where the outline for the original postage stamp house. That was small.
Yeah.
I went down and looked at it, and the one across the street on the way, it's smaller as an apartment.
Yeah.
But if you put that building as a rectangular building,
Hmm.
you could avoid that.
Yep, no, true.
That, and that little shed. It's a huge building
Almost as
Yeah.
big as
compared to
house.
the house.
That's our land.
I don't know what anybody else feels.
I agree.
Hmm?
I agree with you. Tom.
This is. It's hard to understand. Yeah, I got all confused by it because it's sideways. Yes, and I drove down. Midway Oval's the main
Mhm.
road,
Mhm.
Miami Court's Road,
Little cul-de-sac.
but it seems like when they built this. The subdivision, whatever you wanna call it, there were pretty good setbacks from the street to all the structures, all the buildings.
Right.
And I would think that they should be maintaining them for
To the street,
the street.
to the street.
Street.
And this is confined because it's on two streets, it's a corner.
Right, so there's two
Yes.
front yards, two sides.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know that you need,
But the setback, keeping up the house.
And is there any reason why they didn't keep the front of the house parallel to the road?
I don't know. I didn't talk to the applicant.
Yeah.
you mean the original house?
Oh,
The original
Oh,
house,
frozen.
the original house is parallel to Miami Court.
Yeah. It's canted a little bit. The new one seems like it's squared it up.
But I think it, yeah, the existing ones. But I would think that,
But it looks like it, just by that rough scale, I mean, it would be 5 to 8 feet.
it's 8 feet something. 8 point feet is what they have. What they're requesting.
Right.
And right now it's about double. Looks like the existing house is about double.
The requirements are 10.
No. I don't know what the requirements are.
25.
Hmm?
25
Oh.
front yard,
Oh, they couldn't, that would wipe out the whole
exactly,
lot.
exactly.
But it's, they shouldn't be compatible. The ZBA should just look at it and make them compatible with the existing.
Well, actually, take a look at the next house down. On court. Isn't shown. And it's, looks like it's, well, maybe court curves a little bit, but they could line it up with that and still be. Infringe on that 25 feet.
Yeah.
So maybe they are, I just can't tell from this.
Yeah, no, but they want to go down to 8.
Yeah, it's too close.
No, I mean, it's what they're requesting. And if you did a rectangular house, you could move it back to be close to what's existing. Hmm?
The dimensions of the house that they want here to 20.
It's 24 by 24.
That's made for an awfully small house.
It's still gonna be small.
It's still even for 12-foot by 12-foot room. So as soon as you get smaller than that, you can't get a 12-foot dimension. So that's the hardship. I can't get 12-foot dimension.
Hmm.
Like what kind of space would it put in?
But I would think by going.
That's the problem.
Yeah, but they have now. I mean, why is it?
Well,
Why do you buy a lot with a small house? And then you're saying, oh, I gotta build a new. Hmm? The new one should be more conforming, the same conforming or more conforming.
I agree.
That's,
It's not a, I think it's not a house that can be expanded.
oh, not the existing. Well, I wouldn't want to expand it. You look at those structures, and it would be built as temporary structures. It makes sense to me.
This is the smallest of the small.
Yeah.
This particular one.
Yes,
There's a scattering.
there are very few though. That's not really big.
Yep.
Probably a one bedroom.
Right. So that someone was glad to have. Yep. But, expanding it. Yeah, too bad, but you're right. I don't think you can expand this thing.
Oh, no, I would, as long as it's close. So it could even be important to less. Just to 8 feet.
Not in that neighborhood.
So you want to recommend that the front yard setback on Miami Court be similar to the setback of other houses on Miami Court?
Yes, something to that.
Okay,
Or
Okay.
adjacent from,
Yeah,
whatever
okay.
works.
okay.
We all agree with that.
Yep.
No, I,
Moving on, report a chair. Report a commission. Does anyone in the commission? Report of staff.
No, nothing.
I was looking at your application list. What's the art association up to? Did they give you something and do that date, same day?
Oh, it was right, the temporary event, the tent. Yeah, it was. they realized, I think there was a wedding and they realized last minute there was going to be weather. So it was like, they had to hurry and get a 10 approval.
Yeah, but they gave it to you in 6.
They
8,
did.
and
I know.
had
We
to
were
put it
very
on 6,
accommodating.
9.
We were accommodating. It worked. They just put it on the patio that they have. It just-
Oh, that's
it
what I
was-
figured,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But I just thought that was
Yep.
unfair.
Well, it happens.
Does it?
It does. Yeah.
Well, it really isn't seen from the
No,
place either.
no,
Because it's, can't see it from the road.
no, we can't.
You know, I know it from the road.
Mhm.
And the people. I just saw that. I thought, wait a minute.
Yep, it was a quick turnaround.
If you put it out the date that you sent this out in there, it would have looked like it was done. Never would have even looked at that. Does anyone have anything else? Oh, on Brighton Square modification
Mhm.
work,
Mhm.
is that logical to treat this as an ASB?
It's a small
rather than
number.
coming back?
It's a small number of stalls and it's in the rear. There's no increase in drainage. The basin is exactly the same size. It doesn't change the circulation. It met the criteria for administrative. It's not a huge it's not a reworking of the parking lot.
It
It's
doesn't
adding
affect,
an extra row.
doesn't affect the utility.
Not at all. Nope, not at all.
I wasn't sure how.
They were concerned because they were very close to the minimum amount that zoning requires.
Oh, I don't mean.
And yeah,
I
so
didn't have a
they
problem
just felt
adding
that,
them. I
right,
just wonder whether it should come.
right. I mean, if it were a massive reworking of the lot, we definitely would have brought it back. As a matter of fact, you will see a revised plan for the apartment building on Drosdick Drive.
Mhm. Well, you can't really tell,
Right, I know you can't.
but I think that's a good thing to use this list for, to
Mhm.
see if there's something that might be a concern.
Exactly, oh, yeah,
So
exactly,
we're aware,
exactly.
so we're aware.
Yep.
of it.
Rosnick Drive is changing.
Mhm. They're changing the building structure, and the parking scheme, so it was big enough, it's coming back as a modified site plan.
Okay.
It's really filling the site.
Mhm. Well, it still is, but
Well,
the
imagine.
the construction
change,
costs
change.
got, yeah, so you'll probably see it in the public meetings anyway.
Oh, construction costs. Right.
Mhm.
Okay, does anyone have anything else? I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Seconded?
Moved and seconded. Yes, and Steve. Yes, yes. Okay, so
All right, approved, okay, all right,
this was a quick meeting.
thank you, let's do this.